Hi, welcome to Schulte Sweeties YouTube channel. My name is Stephanie and I'm a mom of 3 girls ages 11, 7, and 5. And this is our 6th year homeschooling. Today I'm going to share with you how we pick our curriculum. This is just not a set in stone system that I do, but if you are new to homeschooling or still just trying to figure it all out, maybe this collaboration with other homeschool moms and sharing what they like to do will help you pick out your homeschool curriculum and try to understand what's going on, I guess. So this is a collaboration hosted by Devine at Calm in the Chaos Homeschool and Shauna at Homegrown Homeschool. And then there's also going to be a playlist linked down below of other moms sharing how they pick out their homeschool curriculum. So like I said, it's not a tried and true method. This is kind of just how I have done it the last few years. So I usually get my planner, which I don't have it right in front of me here, but I get my planner out, and throughout the year, I am writing down things that, like, if I think of something like, oh, I might want to do this next year, I write it down. I have different sections for each of my girls, and so I write that down, and even different subjects, because some subjects we like to do with everybody, and some subjects need to be independent, and so I start writing things down. That's just early on. Sometimes I've started some of that in the fall this last year for next year. So I'm writing that down, and then as I go, I'm also thinking about what has worked this year and what needs to change if I'm already seeing some things like that we need to change ahead of time. I was planning to go ahead and switch my oldest daughter's math next year, and she has told me she doesn't want to continue her math now. So like that is already a switch that I have to do now, and we'll still even be reevaluating that this summer as we have started our new math. So I just kind of like write down if something hasn't worked or if I need to kind of think about something different. And then I also write down the different options. Like if I know there's 3 or so different options for phonics for my youngest one, I will write those down and then keep thinking about it as I make a decision. So then I will make a list of what I need to check out of curriculum that I am not familiar with if we haven't used it before, something that's been recommended by someone else. So of course I will go to YouTube and search that curriculum and usually find YouTube channels that have gone through that curriculum, and that is probably the most helpful to me, of course, because hearing opinions of what has worked and what hasn't worked and how they like it and stuff. So that is probably the biggest key, is going to YouTube channels and finding all the curriculum. Then I also will go to the websites and try to find like samples. And of course, I know my kids and I've been homeschooling them for 6 years. So I can a lot of times tell by like the samples if this is going to be maybe a good fit or maybe not a good fit for my children. Like typically if it's just so much like textbooky reading, it's probably not going to work, especially, well, for any of my kids, I think usually. It just kind of depends for my oldest. But they get turned off a lot of times by certain things. So I already know that going into it. And then, you know, if they have free trials on those curriculum websites, I will try to do those. But sometimes like free trials, I feel like you can't really, even with free samples, you can't really get a good feel of the curriculum either. So then I also, a couple other extra things that I do is I will go to like the Facebook groups and try to find Facebook groups specific to that curriculum. Like, I'll just use an example as Guest Hollow. They have like, I don't know, like 10 at least Guest Hollow groups that are specific to like whether it's science or history or high school or elementary and middle school, I think. So they have lots of different groups. So I will join as much as I can on those type of groups for a certain curriculum, and I will like learn more from parents asking questions. I might ask my own questions on there. So that also helps me get like understand if I am really interested in it and want to order it, helps me figure out what I might need to order, or how it has worked for other parents that are using it. So that helps me. And then I also, this is just a random thing that I've been doing, is going on Instagram. I have like a homeschool account. You can find it linked down below. It's Schulte Sweeties, and that's my homeschool account. And then I will go and look up as a hashtag that curriculum. And then that will also show me different families that have used that curriculum. So it kind of gives me an idea like what they're posting and things that they love about it usually. I mean, they don't typically post things that they hate about a curriculum. So those are the ways that I kind of do the research, I guess, part of that. And I, of course, ask other families if I know of them and what they're doing and using. And then I start making my choices after I've probably thought about it for days on end. I think it drives my husband nuts, because I will dwell on something. Like I have been dwelling on a math curriculum for a couple weeks, and then she tells me that she wants to just switch it now. And so then I just have to make a decision. So sometimes I just have to finally just make a decision and go with it. And just know that you are not stuck down to a certain curriculum. Of course, I do understand that funding, like trying to pay for things, can be crazy if you start a curriculum and then you need to stop. Like that's kind of crazy to do. You can try to resell things. So I just have to sometimes just make a decision, and maybe sometimes it's not always the best fit for our family, but I will find that out, I guess. So I make a list of what my choices are. And then I have to go through, we have been in a program the last 3 years, and it's schooling at home. We are kind of signed up through a public school, and we do that way. And so some of our curriculum can be purchased through the direct orders with points that we get. And so I check and see which curriculum can be purchased through that, usually the secular or non-religious. And then the religious things that we might get, like if it's a Bible study or like the Good and the Beautiful items, most of the time can't be purchased. And so then I will go ahead and purchase that. Or a lot of times, if I see that they have a free or cheap PDF, I will start my printing process. We have a pretty good Canon Megatank printer. And so I just go ahead and start printing if I know that that's what we're gonna be using. And I just start printing out that curriculum ahead of time. And the Good and the Beautiful has so many PDFs that are free. And so I go ahead and start printing those things. I know like we've been using their math and for most of my kids, and language arts for some of them. So I'll print them. And then I also have to go through and see if I already have it on my computer. A lot of times my computer or Dropbox, I have lots of curriculum on there and lots of things that I could print as well. So I will go through that and then I just hope that it gets here in time. And like I said, we don't really, we do not start and stop a curriculum at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. So we just purchase when we need to. A lot of times it could be the second semester that we are needing something, and then I will use it from the second semester on. It's not always at the beginning of the year, but I do plan out my school year each spring for the next year. And a lot of times our curriculum is kind of carrying over until we can finish it in the next school year. So that is kind of how I do things. It is not a tried and true method, but it kind of has worked for us. I am not the most organized person, and I like to just make lists, and then I make a million lists and I have to find them all. So but that is kind of how we do things around here. I would love to hear any other tips and tricks that you have found with figuring out your curriculum. I am excited to see the playlist, and don't forget to check out Shauna at Homegrown Homeschool and Davine at Calm in the Chaos Homeschool. Have a great day. Bye.